Hello, everyone. It's me, Madam Pamita, and this is another episode of Meet My Familiar. Boy, oh boy, today is quite a day. We lost David Lynch, and I can't find my headphones, and they took away my favorite filter, which was the sparkly filter. Now I'm just going to have to make do with Starry Night filter. Not my favorite, but what can I do? My guest today, the reason we're doing this, Meet My Familiar, is because my new book is coming out on January 28th. It's called The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars. It is all about how to make magic with the special animals in your life. I wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be having a book release party over Zoom where I will be doing readings for you or for your familiar. So I can either do a short little brief reading for your familiar, if you have a familiar or a pet that you love and you want to get a reading for your pet, or I can do a reading for you so that you can discover your familiar or what familiar would like to work with you. So either one of those is an option, and the only way that you can get that free reading is to come to the party, and the only way you can come to the party is by pre-ordering The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars and then going to animalfamiliars.com and then signing up. So just go to animalfamiliars.com, sign up, and you'll get all the info and the ways that you can join in our big party that we're going to have over Zoom on the 28th. So my guest today is Dr. Amanda Cohen, and I'm going to bring, oh my gosh, this has been a crazy day. I'm going to bring her in right now. Wait, where did she go? You asked to join, and then now you didn't ask to join. Well, I'm going to invite you anyway. I'm going to make you join me. Her familiars. Oh my gosh. Dr. Amanda, when she comes in, she's a really good friend. Hello.
I had
Oh my gosh, you're breaking up. Do you want to move to a different part of the house or something, or the office? I see you're in the office.
I know, I'm here. That's so weird. Let me just check my internet. One
Okay.
second.
I think we can hear you fine. I can hear you fine, but you're frozen.
It's a silly image to be on.
I have to say, I have to go grab over here my laptop because
Okay.
I didn't bring my laptop over here that has your official bio. This is
Oh,
this is a very improv version of me.
it's super improv. Let me just check and make sure I'm on my internet. Give me just a sec. I'll
Okay.
hopefully it won't disconnect. One sec.
Listen, I'm going to tell everybody we've just been through a horrible natural disaster in Los Angeles. I think we are allowed to improv. We're all allowed to improv here. Yeah, you're moving. Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
I feel
Hello.
super duper internet here, so I was surprised. But I think just a moment of pause, just be like, okay.
Okay, let me see if I can find your. I know you wrote it to me. I can't find it. You sent it to me. Oh my God.
Right.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna pull. This is so improv. I listen to this whole last 2 weeks has been so cuckoo, and everybody is just kind of like winging it, right? I mean, that's how I feel with that, all of us. You know, even if you weren't directly affected, it's still tumultuous and crazy, right? Okay, I found your bio. Oh my gosh, you're still breaking up. Well, I'm going to read your bio. That's how we're going to do this thing. And I'm going to make my seat higher. Oh my gosh, I think this is the most improv. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're breaking up. Your voice is not coming through.
Okay, let me get
Now,
out.
wait, now you are. Just
Okay, I'm not gonna.
don't move. Stay right
Oh
there.
my God, do you know why? Because I have this big hunk of pyrite holding up my phone. I'm sure because I use this for protection, and I'm sure it's like making some stuff. I'll just use this handy dandy
Best test.
fast. Okay,
The
I will
pyrite
use
is
something else to hold
talking.
up my phone besides a crystal.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is my amazing, wonderful, dear friend, Dr. Amanda Cohen. So I know all about her, but I'm going to read her official thing because I'm sure I haven't even looked at it. I'm sure that there's going to be something here I didn't know about you. Let's find out.
Okay.
This part I know. Dr. Amanda is the founder of Source Point Wellness in Los Angeles, that I know because I do my live sessions at Source Point Wellness, your beautiful little oasis over there in right Silver Lake adjacent over in Atwater Village. As a health detective and medical intuitive who loves combining science, psychology, and research into her practice, Dr. Amanda is determined to get to the root of the physical, emotional, and spiritual imbalances and provide comprehensive healing plans to help empower her patients and get them lasting results. I can give a testimonial that you have done so many things for my own health and well-being with such non-judgment, such kindness, and like really such support for the work that you, I mean, like when people are going through stuff, oh my gosh. She sees people in person and offers telemedicine services to people all over the United States, combining Eastern and Western natural medicine. For the last 10 years, she's been practicing Chinese medicine and functional medicine and is always researching the most up-to-date and advanced medical testing to deliver her patients the best information and results. She's passionate about helping her patients, achieve optimal well-being. She's a board certified Chinese medical physician and doctor of Chinese medicine and functional medicine. She has a master's and doctoral degree, summa cum laude. Bravo! That's amazing. From Emperor's College of Traditional Oriental Medicine, specializing in integrative medicine. She also has a master's in health psychology from UC Irvine and a dual bachelor's degree in clinical psychology and cultural anthropology from Cornell, cum laude. I didn't know about you, that you got all those cum laudes. That is new news to me.
Love it. The library is my favorite place.
I know, same. I used to be a librarian. Did you know that about me?
That?
I used to be a librarian.
No way.
Yeah, but at a high school library. I was a librarian. I loved it. In elementary school and then a high school. Dr. Amanda lives in Los Feliz with her husband, David, her son, Charlie, who is adorable. I know Charlie very well, and her 3 cats, Murray, Charlie, and Poppy. So when you yell at Charlie the cat, does Charlie the child go?
First of all, I never yell at my cats. Let's just be clear.
That's good.
I would just like to say that my son is named after Charlie Cat. We have to call him Charlie Cat now, not to confuse it with human Charlie.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Her family spends lots of time hiking in Griffith Park and tending to the garden at Source Point Wellness, which is a gorgeous garden out back. She loves strength training, running, dancing, pottery, cooking, watching movies, and hanging out with incredible people. And she would love to take care of you, your family, and your animals. Oh my gosh, we need that. I didn't know, and we need to talk about that. She has free community clinic acupuncture starting this week to help support firefighters, first responders, and anyone who has lost their homes in the wildfire. She can also provide free community animal Reiki sessions to those pets who have been traumatized and also need lung support. Oh my gosh, I didn't know either. So there's 2 facts I learned.
Here, this is going to be a long ride, so whatever I can do. Sorry. Oh God, this has been so much, and you were nearly evacuated in Manfred.
I was evacuated, but nothing happened to my house. But my partner's house, his house burned to the ground with all his stuff in it. He barely left with anything because he thought, as everybody did in the Palisades, oh, we've had these before. It's no big deal. They'll solve it. And so he just left with some papers. You know, he brought some papers, 2 days worth of clothing because that's how long he thought he was going to be gone, and 1 guitar. That's all he left with. All his other guitars, all his and some tapes and recording stuff that he had done back in the 80s with his punk band, and other tapes got lost. Everything, all kinds of things got lost. So yeah, it's weird because I mean we're not here to talk about the fires, but we are talking about the fires because it's happening. But it's weird because that loss of property, you think, well, everybody thinks, well, at least you're here, you're alive, you're safe, and you're well. But it is a grieving process. It's like losing your history. He's lost his whole history, which is a weird thing to grieve, of course. And it's a grief like a death in itself, you know, losing your family home. It was his family home on top of everything.
He's of who you are. Very traumatizing.
Yeah. So anyway, though, we are here to talk about animals because of we're talking about Meet My Familiar. So I want to hear all about your babies, your fur babies, and how they show up in your spiritual practice.
Well, so I consider that I have 4 children. one of them is human, and three of them are feline. So they are my babies. I hold them like babies. They're amazing. Um, and I I work with them physically, obviously every day. Like they sleep. I have three, so one of them sleeps on my head, another one sleeps in between my husband and I, and then another one kind of bites our feet and then kind of will like get in there. But it's like such a wonderful feeling to have everyone in the bed except Charlie Human, who has his own room. um, and but I also, just because of the work that I do, and I do in general work with a ton of people who have a lot of trauma, a lot of physical, emotional, and spiritual issues, that when I sit down every morning to call, I have a lot of protection and support that I call in, but I do call in Murray and Charlie and Poppy, but they're huge versions of themselves spiritually. But I also work with bears and panther and a wolf and gosh, there's a lot of bunny, like there's a lot of different ones. I feel like the animals I work with all the time, and it's a huge part of what I actually have patients who bring in their dogs. So they'll get acupuncture and I'll do Reiki on their dogs. I don't really advertise it just because it's like, um, it's, I already am so busy with people, but it is something that I love doing. And I have done a lot of work on distance healing and in person on animals as well. So to me, to working with animals is an honor, and for them to let me in. And it's just crazy. Like our Charlie cat is like 15, and so sometimes he'll have a limp, and I'll just like sit and send him healing. Like I won't even touch him, I'll just send him, and then he'll stop limping. Like it's really cool. And so it works really fast in animals. I've worked on constipated horses that they pooped right away. um, I actually have a friend who has a wolf sanctuary, and I worked on the wolves sitting there, not on them, but sitting there and just seeing them like stop limping. And it's really cool. Like, especially you can see those when you see those instant things, but dogs with anxiety, a lot of these things you can do virtually, which is cool, but you can do them in person as well. But to take care of your familiar is to take care of your human. So I think that even though my practice is primarily people, like taking care of, I do a lot of pediatrics, so like taking care of their children, animals, all of that is part of taking care of my patients' clients. So it, it's because they are so amazing and so perfect, and I love them so much. So.
Do you think that I haven't really delved into this, but a lot. But people talk about like animals taking on
Yes.
the human's energy, and so do you find, like, I mean, there's such a kind of like, when we have close beings in our lives, that I think my perspective is that the auras of those blend together. And so there's this very open energy that if you have a close relationship with an animal, that animal is going to take on your anxiety, your depression, and I guess try and process it or just relieve you of some of that. And do you find that to be something that you work with or you've seen in your practice? Oh, yeah. Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
great. No, I'm good for a little bit. Uh, I definitely see that. I see that a lot in digestive issues, actually, because in Chinese medicine, a lot of digestive issues are about difficulty processing information and energy. So that's why I love when people do bring in their animals, because it's like they both get healing at the same time. And even if they're not getting a session, the fact that they're human is getting acupuncture and they're just near them, their nervous system's calming down. And so that's why I think that with all of this happening and any trauma, not just with the fires, but there's been huge trauma that animals really need support as well, and to sort of get back in their own energy field. Because yeah, they take it on for better or for worse. And I would say like my cats during an earthquake are like whatever, like they're like just like so chill, like fireworks, no problem. Like there's so many crystals, Reiki on them, like they're so chill. But also it's been a time when I you know just kind of at my limit, just whatever, for whatever reason, they are like nowhere to be found. They're like, I don't want to be near her. It's kind of like they know how to like there's one thing in our family, really know how to own our emotions. Even Charlie, I'm like, okay, like I just feel there is something to be said about taking care of your emotions, being responsible for them. So
Yeah.
they're like, I want to be around her. Right? That's fine.
They have good boundaries, right?
I think that is true. Like, I think that as being an empath forever and highly sensitive person, I got really good with boundaries. So I feel like I'm very proud of them for like having their boundaries so they don't take our stuff on. But
Do you, do you find also too, I think, one of the things you mentioned was that when you do Reiki that they can have a very quick turnaround, maybe even quicker than a person. Do you think I feel like animals are so much more spiritually
yeah.
open than we are with our rational brains really being the loud shouty voice, that they're intuitive, they're connected. So they're more open in that way to
Mhm.
receiving the healing. They're not sitting there going, well, this isn't real, or this,
Yeah.
what I mean? All
Yeah.
those things.
They're less heady
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. Very open. And I think the way that I do Reiki, which you've experienced as I activate the acupuncture points and meridians. So it's really fine tuned and quick because you're combining both the meridians, the acupuncture points, and Reiki with that. And Reiki is basically distance healing. We're able to heal someone over distance. So sometimes I'll work on animals and not even touch them. Like I'll sit with them, but if they're there, I'm like, why not? But I'm
Yeah.
still putting my hands on them and then sending the points to the meridians. But um, yeah, animals and kids, like it does not take long to get results at all. And I think it's just that as we grow up, we get a little more in our heads and less open to just receiving. So yeah. Um, but I think that one of the things that I notice the most that I've seen the best results is in like anxiety like behaviors that can be really helpful. And even if you don't know Reiki, just like putting your hands on them and just like sending in light can be really helpful for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I talk about in the book, as I go into this book, I have so many techniques for people. And of course, uh, to even go into doing Reiki would be a whole book in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. But I do talk about doing, and all of these, I want to point out this is for dogs in the dog chapter, but it can be applied to other animals as well. That I encourage people to look beyond just their animals as they're looking in the book, because these things can be, with slight adaptations, be applied to other animals, especially animals that we have close contact with, our pets and our domestic animals. But I talk about in the book about doing massage on a dog with sending intention as you're doing that massage, which is kind of I would say it's a Reiki adjacent practice where you're giving this very loving massage and always like checking in with the dog. Are they enjoying it? Most dogs will, but if maybe there's a tender spot or something that they don't like, paws, you don't do it on the pads of their paws. That's going to be too much for them. But doing it in other areas and paying attention to their response to it. But it can be such a calming, centering, relaxing thing for both you and the dog. You can do it with other animals as well, but again, you have to adapt it. Like a cat depends on the cat. Honestly, my cat loves to have her belly stroked and she's solely into it. Some don't. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that's the thing. You have to kind of be able to, now that I took my pie right away, I
I
apologize.
take your pie right away.
Okay. Yeah, I think with any, just kind of read the room, see how they're doing. Like I try to teach Charlie, our human Charlie, not to be confused with cat Charlie, which I should have thought about. Is that, if their ears are back, like don't continue to pet them.
Yeah, it's
Like
time to stop
you're
now.
petting too hard.
Yeah. Or they just don't want to be pet in that place, or
Yeah.
it's not the right time. I mean, cats will for sure
Oh,
let you know.
yeah.
My Glinda will give me a nip, not a bite, but like, nope,
Yep.
she's telling me not now,
Yeah,
you know? So,
totally. Yeah.
yeah. Do you have you brought any of your cats into your spiritual practice, or have they shown any interest in like any kind of spiritual things that you do
Well,
in your home?
yeah. So every morning, I've been needing more sleep, so I haven't been getting up as early as I normally do. I'll get up early and like before Charlie Human gets up. Sorry, it's gonna be, uh,
4 a.m.
and, and no, it's. We finally had a talk that he needs to wait till it's bright outside, not just like a tiny bit late, but like bright. He needs to take it out of his room. Anyway, I will sit and I will meditate and I'll do, I have basically a symbol that I work with every day that helps ground. It's like a compass to help ground like my values of how I want to live my, my day. So the base of it's a star and the base of it is like health and fitness and the top is peace and sacred space. I have these different things, and so I write it out. I pull tarot. I have that time, and the cats take turns being on my lap. So there's always a cat on my lap. We take our show watching very seriously in our house. My husband Dave and I. So Charlie Human goes to bed, and then we like get our like infrared little mats and our cozy blankets and watch our shows, and then we Charlie cat is above Dave's head, Murray's in the middle of us, Poppy is on usually Dave, and because my husband is a producer, so we do watch a lot of horror. He's a horror producer, so but like we watch spooky movies and everyone gets cozy, and that for us is a sacred time because it's just kind of like being together. But I do a lot of acupuncture on myself, like just at home. I do it on Dave, my husband, and they love being near that. They're like super curious, like put their whiskers against, brush the needle, like how can I be a support? But definitely when I'm meditating
Amazing.
and when Dave and I like are calm and just like taking a load off at the end of the day, like 8 to 10 at night, like they are there, and it's very cozy.
I mean, I love that they are, because I one of the things I think if you were to un, to really understand what a familiar is, whether you call them a familiar or you don't call them a familiar, but if you're looking at a familiar, it is your close magical relationship where the animal and can lend its energy to you and to your practice. But it is always a cooperative thing where you cannot force an animal to do these things. They have to show interest. And I think that's like the sign of like, is this is this familiar? Is this a familiar or is this an animal friend? An animal friend is a great relationship, just like having friends that are non-magical are amazing people in your life, right? So, but you have friends that are magical and that you can talk about magic, do magic with, they can lend their energy to things, and that is a different flavor, right? It's not one is better than the other or, less than or greater than. But when what you said that your cats are rubbing their whiskers up against the needles as you're doing acupuncture at home, this is totally 100% an example of a familiar relationship because they are lending their energy to your, it is a physical work, but it is a healing work, but it is spiritual work as well. And there they are doing that. And you didn't train them to do that, or you're not forcing them to do that, or putting churu on the needles to get them to go.
On the needles, and it's not like I don't mind, but my husband gets freaked out, like no, 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 don't come near me, because he's like he's so afraid of needles. Like of course he married an acupuncturist, but they used to when he was a kid like have to chase around the room with the shots. Yeah, he's like very traumatized by needles. So and the cat comes near at all, trying to help. Murray, Murray's my first baby, and he's like a orange and white, like fluffy. I think he's a Norwegian forest cat or something, and he's like we look alike. Like it's crazy, and he's the most curious about the acupuncture needles. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly also too, that when you have multiple familiars or multiple animals that are in your life, they kind of pick specialties.
Yeah.
So they might all do the thing, but like sounds like Murray's the like most interested in acupuncture, most interested in like healing and healing energy and all of that stuff. And then your other two are maybe skilled and have different skills or different interests,
I I feel like so we named our son Charlie after Charlie Cat because he's so grounded. He's like the perfect cat. Like so you just pick him up, purrs, like you can just hold him in any position. and he's just like oh, he's delicious. And he's just like very earthy and just like calm and just kind of like he perches above us on the couch like a little um we have this like e-cat pillow, but we call it like it's like the IKAT, it's like
Yeah.
a design. And then we call like the cat on the e-cat. Like so he has a cat that he sits on. And then Poppy, because my house is all boys. And Poppy, we rescued out of our little healing garden at Source Point, and she's like this petite little orange mountain lion looking thing, like she's like anything um witchy that she's there.
Gosh, amazing, amazing. So, S. Marie 1010 says we named our daughter after our dog that passed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's really sweet,
it's
right?
so sweet, and I think that we wanted to name Charlie is alive and well, but you know, uh, I think it's such an honor to to it shows how much you love your to name your child after them. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting because you really come from that perspective of what I would say species egalitarianism, maybe that's what I want to call it, which is to say, oh, I think in a more older mindset, people would be like, oh, well, a dog or a cat is less than. Why would you name your child after that? And you're, seeing these beings as completely valid, equal, and worthy of our love and respect and kindness and care, all of those things. So you're not a speciesist.
No. No. Yeah, we got a lot of equal beings in our house, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's a full house, but it's cozy, you know.
Now, I talk about a little bit, mostly the book is about working with animals in the 3D, real animals that you're in contact with, whether wild animals or domestic animals or pets and so on. But you mentioned that you work with what I would call them animal guides. Sometimes people call them spirit guides or spirit animals or things like that. I call them animal guides. Um, these animals that are not in physical form but are um, like the essence or the spirit of that animal that is there long term. We have other things that may come in like messengers and things like that come in for a small time, but I think of animal guides as being, or animal allies even, can come in for a short time, but animal guides are there for longer periods of time, sometimes our whole lifetime, sometimes just bigger chunks of time that they're there, and you're working on going and building relationship with that animal guide. And I touch on that. I'm going to have a class about working with animals in spirit form coming up, I think in March. But do you want to talk a little bit about that, or do you want to share anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think that when I call them in as part of, because I feel like I used to when I would work, I get so depleted at the end of the day, and so I think that I started to call in, you know, different beings, but a lot of them are animals. A lot of them are goddesses and fairies and things, um, and some ancestors. But they're always in the same space. Like I have a Saint Bernard front. I have a white wolf on the uh, a black panther on the left. I have three bears behind me. I have a snake underneath. I have, like they all have their positions. It's like, ready, here we go. And it's just like they're like reporting for duty. And I just feel after that, like, it's not just like protection like this. They're helpers. They're helping me sort of work with those elements to help the people that and I mostly work with people, but animals, they still are helping me with that too. Um, as just my coworkers. And I really feel a huge difference because I can't do this. I mean, I just basically channel energies, but I think that sometimes we go when we start our practice, whatever, if you're working with energy at all, you're like, I'm going to take all of my energy and heal you. It's like, no, no, no. Like, you need to be solid, you nourish yourself, and like set up your team to kind of be able to do this because it's like it's people release a lot of stuff, so it's like you can't take on that all of that on yourself. Plus, I wear probably everything well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like amazing. I knew for people that don't do energy work, they don't understand that you're really working, like giving energy. Like I feel this with spell work.
yeah,
When I do spell work for people, it's like people are just like, well, you're just lighting a candle. What's the big? I'm like, no, 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 no. It's so much more than that. And you're giving energy, and if you do a lot of it, you can feel very
yeah,
depleted. That's why I kind of space out my candle work so that I'm not doing it all the time every day, because I couldn't do it.
yeah.
It's too much energy that you're giving up, and you would be lying in bed for a week
You guys,
afterwards, if you did that.
I think like my first anytime there's like some crisis, I'm like, what can I and so like opening up my calendar to do like so many pro bono sessions, like, and then I was like, no, I need to pick like certain times, people, and just calm myself. But I started to get sick because I
Yeah.
felt like because I was also running energy on like all over the fires. I had an energy field and I was working on probably 20 different houses at once. And so I was like constantly sending energy. And I think you could hear my voice still kind of recovering from it. And so the big thing in my life and in my practice is like nourish yourself first, like, make sure you're taking care of your as like, um, but I think the animals are a huge part of that. And my um my sons and daughter are like such a big part of helping to decompress at the end of the day. That's why even though we're watching our shows or watching horror movies or we're doing whatever, it's like it's a time where we all come together as a family on the couch, except for sorry Charlie Human who's sleeping. um I swear he's I feel like he's awake a lot, goes to bed at 8 and
Yeah.
wakes
Well, kids need way, way, way more sleep than adults
up.
do. I mean, they need so much more sleep, almost like double what we need. But you don't like you wouldn't want your kid watching a horror movie anyway. You know what I mean? Like if
Well,
that's
sometimes there's been times when I'm like, I'm gonna go meet a friend for dinner. I come home and he's watching a horror movie with Charlie. Like, oh yeah, yeah, Charlie is 3. Um, and I'm like, he thought Beetlejuice was funny, and he's
yeah,
like,
that's different.
oh, he loves Gremlins. Um, but I think there's something, a 3-year-old boy, the energy is very different, So when he's asleep and it's quiet and the couch and we just like are cozy, that's like, like I love that
Yeah,
time.
sure. It's so nice. Yeah, when your moms listen. No mom is judging you at all because we all have been there. You're just like, I need some adults to be around adults. I remember I was staying home and taking care of kids. We're having such a talk here. And I remember going, I just want a job in a cubicle somewhere. Like I was fantasizing
Yeah,
about a cubicle job. That's how I just wanted to be around adults.
yeah,
And
yeah. I know.
and then I manifested that cubicle job.
You did. You made
Yeah.
it. Oh,
But it was fine. I actually made some great friends at that job. Um, but okay, so I want to let you go because I know we have to wrap up. And but before we go, there's two things I want to ask you. The first thing I want to ask you is if someone came to you and was like, "Oh, I want to bring my animal, this animal. I feel like it wants to be in my spiritual practice, or I want to bring an animal into my spiritual practice." Do you have any like tips or guidance or a little succinct little tidbit that you would say to them? Like you're more experienced, what would you say to them?
like they're saying all in a actual animal or a spiritual animal. Like,
Actual animal, an actual animal.
well, I think my one of my teachers, Jen Kosh, who I love so much, and I do my course with her, is she taught me how to set up an energy field, and you make a heart on a piece of paper and you write in all the qualities that you want to bring in. And so I think that sometimes if they want to bring in a animal or spirit familiar, anything, what are the qualities, like they want their even things like their belly rubbed, they, um, they enjoy going like someone want a cat. I'm sorry, I'm only thinking cats right now. Sorry, I'm like such a like if you want a cat who is open to like going on a leash so that you can take them around, or if it's a dog, like envision going on hikes, like just kind of like what are the qualities that you want to bring in, and that just send that little heart on a piece of paper, like just like love and energy. It's like a beacon and a like a magnetic field to bring it in. Um, and so that can be kind of helpful because sometimes we don't really know what we want. We just say, "Oh, I want this," but like there's maybe some things that you would enjoy experiencing, sharing with that animal familiar, and or one that would enjoy sitting with me while I cast my spells, or manipulate acupuncture needles in my case.
Yeah.
um, but like calling it in. Yeah.
I think that's a gorgeous thing, and it's so in alignment with my own magic, which I think when we have physical objects, they are something that can be like a point of attraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just this free form thought. Of course, your free form thought can create something, but when we have a talisman, an artifact, a petition paper, or a candle, or anything, it's like this center of attraction to bring it to you. There's
Yeah.
something energetic about that, rather than just the thought is important and it's essential, but a 3D thing that you can work with, like that heart, is such a beautiful thing. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen, right? This is such an easy thing to do,
Yeah.
and to put that energy to it. I think that's a gorgeous tip.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to announce for everybody any things that you have coming up that you're doing
Yeah.
right now? All of the things. Go ahead and tell everybody what you're up to.
All right, so here we go. All right, so we're really still in the recovery, and still wildfires are happening. So I can only do 3 people at once. So you have to sign up at sourcepointwellness.com, and then there's a way for it. Um, we also have a free box this weekend with LJ. We also have a breathwork circle. All of these are pro bono free, just for going through the grief and trauma and PTSD of the fires. Have ongoing $25 acupuncture community clinic on Saturdays again. I'm also launching with Jen Kosh our High Priestess Healing certification, how to heal people with that. Remember, I told you I could do the healing for it, so you're able to first nourish yourself and then help heal others, so you're able to heal migraines, PMS, anxiety, insomnia, learn all the meridians and my favorite points and how to really help people. This is what I birthed during COVID and was able to help a lot of people. So that's starting in March. And also, I've been doing a lot of pediatrics. So I'm really excited to announce that I'm really building my pediatric practice. Kids are great with acupuncture and herbs. And so I'd love, if you come in, bring your pets. We do have people that bring their cats too, but I can also do stuff. And any way I can be of support. But those are the happenings that's happening.
And they can find all of these offerings, all these things at sourcepointwellness.com,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in the notes underneath here. Want to remind everybody, last thing before we go is my book release party is happening January 28th for The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars. So excited. You're going to get a copy of this. But we're going to have a party, a book release party on Zoom. And at the book release party, I will be doing readings of for people or for your animal. So you can either have a reading for your animal to see, like, if you have a question or want to know something about them, or you want to, it's like animal communication, pet psychic pet communication reading. Or if you don't have a pet or don't have an animal, you can ask what animal would like to, is interested in becoming a familiar, developing a familiar relationship, and I'll do a reading on that. So either way, you'll get a reading, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to have fun and celebrate the birth of this book, this new book. Yay. Thank you so much, Dr. Amanda. I love you so much. You are just so dear to me. And I just, I'm so glad we got to chat. Like we never get to chat. We're always running.
I
And
know.
we never really get to talk. So I'm glad we got to have this really jazz improvisation
I,
interview today.
I love it. I wanted to also share one last thing.
Yeah.
About you because you also love plants. I started doing acupuncture on my plants, and they are like growing like crazy. So that's definitely something to talk
Oh my
about. If
gosh.
some,
You and I need to talk because my next book is the Plant Familiar book.
I know,
So yeah.
I know, I know.
I'm in the middle of writing it right now. And I just asked my editor, I'm like, oh my God, I need more time because of this fire. So she's giving me more time. I said, I don't take it lightly. When you make a change in your schedule of the book, it's like everybody's schedule has to change. So I always feel completely guilty about it. But this fire, I was like last week and this week was supposed to be writing week. Hell, the
Oh
universe
no,
had other plans for me. So
gotta take care of you, girl. Uh,
yeah, exactly.
okay, I'm sorry that my pyrite threw off the connection at the beginning.
That's all right. I love you so much. Have a great afternoon and we'll talk soon. And all of you, thank you so much for joining us here. This will be up on YouTube for posterity. You can find it on YouTube if you missed any part of it. And also we'll be on Instagram for a little while, but Instagram, everything goes away. So eventually it gets lost, but YouTube, it'll be archived there forever. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Amanda. We'll talk soon. All right. Bye.
Bye.